So good afternoon. When the heart stops beating, pCPR starts sensing. What's this? I'm Nuno. I'm an emergency doctor, and I'm the founder of pCPR. And I'd like to talk to you about cardiac arrest. I think that all of us have an idea about cardiac arrest. Briefly, the heart stops. And the point is that we want to know more, and we want also to engage with you. So we have some voting system there. Would you help us telling how many people do you think are affected by cardiac arrest, suffer a cardiac arrest in the world? So for those of you who have this voting system, just vote, please. All right, you have voted. Thank you. And a lot of you think that's 4 million people. 4 million people in the world. Yeah, thank you for your feedback. And for those who are affected, how many do you think will die from the cardiac arrest? All of them? 30%? 60%? Please vote again. %60. Well, no, in fact, it's 90%. Thank you again for your feedback. It's a huge problem. Cardiac arrest is a huge global problem. We know that 9 out of 10 people, it's the international average, will die after a cardiac arrest. 4 million people are affected each year. And it can happen to anyone, anywhere. Even you can suffer a cardiac arrest. It's true that we have more than 5,000 hospitals in Europe, a lot of their acute care hospitals, and another 5,000 in the US. And emergency ambulances, we hold more than 200,000 in the developed world. But still, 9 out of 10 people will die after a cardiac arrest. The point is that the emergency teams, they really don't get the right clinical information at the right time. It's the 20 minutes golden time. It's an emergency. And technology is not helping much. We know that feedback is the gap. It looks like the age of Apollo 13. Do you remember the question, Houston, we have a problem? So in cardiac arrest, emergency teams like us, we shout this, Houston, we have a problem. And usually we get the same answer from the technology. Say it again, please. And this must change. And we know that the technology can do much better, and we want to do better. Because the American Heart Association has a consensus stating we must have quality CPR. This saves lives. And the Institute of Medicine, they have a report from 2015 saying time to act. So we want to do better. That's why we propose pCPR. pCPR is a portable, precise, and patent now medical device to properly assist emergency teams. It's a thoracic pad with sensors that doctors, nurses, and paramedics apply directly to the patient. And a new monitor display to guide and support the emergency teams during their critical decision-making and their goal-directed therapy. pCPR wants to be the reference. Not the gold standard, will be there, but the reference on innovation in every hospital, emergency room, in every emergency ambulance, and in the bags of the emergency teams. We value real-time feedback, but based on physiological indicators, a new set of indicators. And with non-invasive sensors, we don't have the time to get invasive sensors in these patients. So we must rely on non-invasive patients. And we must get also data, clinical data, from this episode, because it will go further to the hospital and even to the world. So this is our value proposition. The most important, we want a real impact on long-term outcomes. The outcomes are not only survival, but the quality of life of these patients, neurological quality, cardiological quality. These are the long-term outcomes that we want to impact. Yes, we can feedback. This is our main focus. We are focusing based on visual oximetry. We have developed a new near-infrared spectroscopy for cerebral oximetry. And this is our unique selling point. Another unique selling point is that we want, with a new algorithm, a goal-directed therapy, guidance. We'll have teams being guided with our assistive device. That's why we say properly assisting emergency teams. And then we'll have the personalized care. We already have in the market some pads, medical pads, but usually they have some electrical capacity, but really no feedback, no physiological feedback. So we can apply it to the patient, but we only give them electricity, no feedback from the patient. And we have this kind of monitors from the competition, quite heavy ones. We carry them in the streets, and these monitors cost 30,000 euros for the assistive device in the streets or in the emergency room. And this is the kind of thing that we want to change, because we have spoken, this is why our project was born with the professionals, with the emergency professionals, and 93% told us, look, we want a better device for assisting medicine. We want physiology feedback and indicators for our device, and we cannot get it now with the current solutions. So we are targeting a very competitive landscape. We know this is a 2 billion addressable market, the ALS defibrillator market, and CPR is heading there, competing with Philips and Zoll and Physiocontrol, and a lot of other, and they sold last year 163,000 defibrillator units. It's a lot of units, and we want 3% of this market. This is our goal. We'll be not only the innovative ones in the market, but we also have a combined solution with the new monitor device, with the sensing pads, and the software for the emergency data management. So it's one vertical, yes, the emergency vertical, with hospitals and health networks and out-of-hospital ambulances and the emergency data management. It's the same vertical, but with 3 different revenues for being a much stronger project. So we have just completed now 2 great milestones. We have a grant from SMA Instrument Phase 1, directly in the European Commission, more than 300 projects under the health sector. We were the 7th. We were not the best. We'll be the best. But we were the 7th project, and we won the grant. And now we have a patent, the thoracic pad. We have a patent since 2 days ago. We wanted to say it to you. And our roadmap is clear for the future. So we are heading to SMA Instrument Phase 2, because we want to develop not only the prototype, but the go-to-market plan. We have 2 years to make this happen. And we'll have this funding from SMA Instrument Phase 2. We are also shifting our ideas. We want to do the field trials with the Caixa Capital, 100K. We'll want to do the field trials in Italy and Germany, because we have spoken with their local resuscitation councils, and they are willing to test our prototype. So our road ahead is clear. Our team comes from Medsim Lab. Our company already has a lot of clients from the emergency sector. Last year, we hit a revenue of 2 million euros. It was our record revenue. And we have this kind of full skills approach. Medical doctors, biomedical engineers, software developers, sales managers, all came from Medsim Lab. Now we have the advisory board, and a fantastic advisory board, and fantastic mentors like Antonio Diniz and Isaac from BGI. So our team is growing, and we hope that next year will be a much stronger project with a spin-off. Lastly, last words to say that this was only a metaphor about feedback. But when you are on the streets and you really know the impact between life and death from physiological feedback, you want some new device, new assistive device. This is pCPR live again. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the team pCPR. Right now, we will open for questions. Who would like to have the first question?
Okay, so it'll be more feedback than a question. Okay. I don't know how much time we have, but 3 minutes. Okay, so you have the luxury of a 7-minute pitch. Usually you would have about 3. Yeah. And you want to, in the pitch, you want to accomplish a certain thing. You have a call to action. What's your call to action?
We want...
you're looking for money, you're looking for what?
We are looking for partnerships, yes,
okay.
next year, but we want to deliver our prototype. That's
okay.
why in the previous pitch, we have said we will have partners, but we want our partners to trust our prototype.
So you're not going to you're not going to build a prototype in your pitch. You're going to get somebody's attention to have a meeting with you later, right? Yeah. So what that means is a lot of times people that are passionate about their products, they get product manager disease. They want to tell you everything. But when you're doing a pitch, all you're trying to do is create an emotional response from the right people in the audience to do what you want them to do, which have a meeting with you. So you need to really shorten it and remove a lot of the gimmicks. The voting it's nice, but it's not necessary because you can just say the statistics. And the sequence is a little bit different. You should be building context, right? Most people don't know the statistic. They don't know the technology. They don't know how important it is. They have sort of an idea. So it should be, who's the customer? What's the problem? How is it currently being solved? Why is that inadequate? What is your product? How does it work? Who is the team? Is it the right team? And some financials on the market, top down. How is it changing? Is it growing? What's your business model, etc. So you need to build a context, answer a number of questions. So by the end, I would say, this is the right stage company for me. This is an interesting area for me. This is a great team. I want to talk to them more. That's the effect that you're trying to create with the pitch.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
I have a doubt about what's the benefit, because you stated the number of people that has the heart problem, the number of people that die with it, but it's not clear what the paramedics will do with your device. What will be different? So because we see a typical approach from a paramedic, but we can't see what we will do with your device.
All right. So for us, it's quite clear, and that when you have the guided therapy that we have talked about, coming from physiological sensors, you'll get a different therapy in time and in quality of therapy, the kind of acts that we'll do. So we are talking about guiding the emergency teams through a very emergent and difficult scenario that they will approach. So the benefit that is completely proved by a scientific means is that if you get them feedback about, for instance, the quality of the mechanical maneuvers that they must do, CPR is mechanical, and also the therapeutics, the time to the first defibrillation, the time to the first adrenaline, the way they have oxygen. Why are we focusing on cerebral oximetry? Because the oxygen, the content of oxygen in the brain will have the impact on the long-term outcome. So in fact, you are talking about a completely different attitude in the field. Much more guided, yes, but in a way, much more personalized. So you are not just following the guideline. That's what you will usually see paramedics and doctors doing in the street or even in an emergency room. Isn't that so? So I don't know if you want to add. So this is...
He was not to have the explanation right now, just to point out that it's not clear in your presentation.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, okay.
Thank you. So the other thing that I don't think was clear enough in the presentation is the issue of founder market fit. People talk a lot about product market fit. You have to convince us that you have the team in place to do this. This is a big challenge, hardware, software-wise. You convinced us that you do know the pain because you're on the streets. But I don't think I myself wasn't convinced what was behind you with the rest of the technology team that would make you the right team to do this. And just throw it out there at the very end that you have a patent. It's a cool thing, but it's not enough. Like, you have to explain why you're going to go against like those heavy logo big names that you put
it's
on
not
the
enough, but it's not born naturally, isn't it? So if you have a patent, obviously you have some technical capacity.
Yeah, but how many patents do you probably need to fix the whole cycle?
Yes, we are aware of that, but we don't need patents for all of them.
I agree with that too.
Yeah.
My point is not about the patent specifically. It's you have to prove that you have the team to pull this off.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. Okay.
In 7 minutes.
Well, you should be able to do that in 1 minute.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Vitaly mentioned 3, but
so let me
honestly,
let me
just
just
say one thing.
You have
a very
biomedical engineer and the project manager, and João, PhD, biomedical engineer, and the R&D coordinator.
Yeah. So here's one more piece of feedback. You guys, out of all of the ones I've seen on the list, have probably the easiest job, because you have something to pitch that people can relate to, regardless if they know the science or the technology behind it. And it's very emotional. It's life or death, right? So in 1 minute, I bet you that with practice, in 1 minute, you can convince anyone in the audience to come talk to you and ask you what you're doing and decide to invest or not.
I understand, yeah.
So you don't need 7.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
I still prefer to see patients.
Yes, I don't really expect an answer to this, but it's just a remark. And you say very effectively in the beginning that 90% of those with heart stop will die. And I would imagine that most of them die because they're far from medical care. And then you must argue and you must convince me that with this device, you will actually change those figures dramatically, would change them. And I don't really see how much help it would be for those that are far from medical care, because they are not gonna, everybody is not gonna go and wear this device. So that's something you need to work on and convince me. Thank you.
We are, in a way, we are refusing to do guesswork with mortality rates. Scientifically, it's not, we cannot do that. Ethically, we cannot do that. We cannot just come here and tell, look, with our prototype device, we'll have a lot of people that will simply live from their cardiac arrest. That's not that simple. No. We cannot guarantee that.
Neither can I.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's a big question.
But technology has evolved. So obviously the market is looking for answers. The market is doing something. And if you really look at what Zoll and Philips and Physiocontrol they are doing, obviously they are improving their own medical devices. So the $2 billion market is it's real. They really sold 163,000 units of ALS defibrillators.
Okay, sorry, just one last comment. Yeah, one last.
That's really important. You're too smart. You are much smarter than all of us in this room about this. No. You need to talk to us like we're 5th graders. That we're very smart 5th graders, but we don't know everything you know. So you need to dumb down what you're talking about for us to get the emotional response and understand and be excited about learning more. That's all you need to accomplish in a pitch.
Okay, thank you so much. So I will just ask an applause.